Great sunrise, family. Great sunrise. Come on in, come on in, come on in. Some more inspiring talk. I don't mean to toot my own horn, but I have a way of, how do I say it? Assisting in the betterment of a lot of people's lives. I have been one positive influence. Maybe a small percentage, I would give myself that, because I like to say that the big percentage comes from the person themselves, because it takes a lot to, a lot of us do look for people to assist us and help us. And in that, we find that and we accept that. But a lot of us, some of us don't want that. That's why I say the large percentage is the people, because it takes the person to be ready for assistance or help or advice and be open to it. And that's the biggest part of the job. So I give the person more credit for themselves than I do being in their lives. But what brought me to this was, it's just natural for me to talk to people and want to enrich them and change their lives. Be an influence that changes their life for the betterment. And I've seen this about myself, and it made me like, okay, I have this ability. Why don't I go to YouTube and utilize it and touch the lives of others? And I don't know it, but I'm pretty sure I have, because I know that I have for myself done so. If I have done so for others and I've done so for myself, and I know that, then chances are I'm continuing on the magic, continuing on the magic. So I say that to say this. Our youth, we do not need to guide our youth in the way of the destroyer. Meaning this, I thought about this for a long time, talking about boyfriend-girlfriend situations. Our children do not need great sunrise, Sonara. Our children do not need to be thinking about boyfriend-girlfriend situations in their lives, period. That's not our nature, by no means. We're totally different beings. Totally different beings move in different ways. This was brought to my attention, I think, in my youth. I've made many mistakes in my youth, and I'm sure a lot of us out there have, because of the disembobulated system we grew up in. So we didn't know love. We didn't know relationships. We didn't know even though people told us, save yourself, girls, your virginity. Here in America, it's a problem. It's a serious problem. we give ourselves away. How do I say it? We desecrate ourselves. They taught us how to desecrate ourselves. We are sacred, but we have walked and spit and crapped all over ourselves, right? We'll allow ourselves to be just you know. Um, so hold on a second, family. Hold on a second. So we allow ourselves to be lowered to a level, and that is not good. That we're looking around, we're putting ourselves in a position where we look around at others and we think they're perfect. But this is not true because we don't know other people's lives either. I'm talking about in our own group. Because I thought this many a times. I mean, I thought, well, here I am going around doing this to myself, disgracing, and I'm just going to call it disgracing self, okay, and defacing self. Because I took myself from the place of purity to a place of disgrace, okay? And then I would look at other people thinking that there was something wrong with me, that, you know, my biological father wasn't in my life, this, that. No. Those things do play a part, but the whole thing is the whole world around me is all wrong. And if your environment is wrong, you're going to be wrong. That's what we're not getting for our children. We should at least fight for them, right? So I say this out of all that I just said. Our children are sacred. So we should at least want them to be raised without, having to go through the things we went through. We need to think higher and gear them higher. They don't have to be in situations, boyfriend, girlfriends, especially in these days and times where they are influenced, horribly influenced. We're in a detrimental space. So I encourage the youth out there, especially if you're in your 20s and just starting college. You don't need, because the parents can handle the ones that are not yet in college and let them know that it's important, that to gear them where they need to be geared, to prepare them, to give them everything they need, the tools they need if they're 18 and under. But those who are 18 and over, because some 18-year-olds are still in the house, not college yet. So I'm still going to say them for both groups. But 18 and over, you just need to get yourself together, live your life, respect self, and by get yourself together, I mean get your mind right. Make sure you have you headed towards your dreams, what you want in life, girls and boys, because it is very crucial in these days and times for your own sanity, not just your own sanity, but your well-being going into the future. You want to set yourself up to reap what you sow. You want to set yourself up to reap what you sow. And what I mean by that is you never know the good things that you do, and you continue to plant those good seeds. Later on, when you're in time of need, it's going to all be there for you. It's going to come back. You're going to find it. It's going to, you just continue to reap what you sow over and over again. It builds, it really, really, really works for you when you're doing on that, along your rightful path in life. Focus on you. And not the pressure of having a girlfriend or boyfriend in life. Because you're not mentally prepared, you're not mentally ready for any of that. Responsibility, you can have relationships. Girls can be friends with boys, and boys, just be friends with people. That's how you interact. Friends first is the most important foundation to start. Friends first is the most crucial, important foundation to start. Because then it'll go a long, long way. Because then you can work out if you like each other, what you dislike, what you like, But none of that lovey-dovey fake stuff, because that's not, in the youth, that's not real. And all scheme of things, you got to think about what you what you took in from the programming of television, other kids, other groups, and because it may not be healthy for your life, for you. It may not be healthy for you. So we have to think way higher than that. We have to have the foresight. We have to see things ahead of time, plan things ahead of time. And that's what I would recommend for the youth. Because I see right now around me, there's a lot of, if race didn't matter, everybody would love themselves, their own group of people, and no one would be oppressed. But what our people don't get is what the Democrats are pushing in this environment, in this, while they got the controls, what they be pushing. And if race really didn't matter, it wouldn't matter. I'm going to tell you this now. It wouldn't matter. You wouldn't want or feel the need to go over to deal with Caucasian people. You wouldn't feel the need to go over and deal with them like that. You wouldn't be pressured to integrate or to do all of this. It wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter. You would be free to be who you are and flourish. I say that again. You would be free to be who you are and flourish. You wouldn't need to do that, to do the things that we have to do. What I mean by that is, who's a prime example? Tap dance for Zaddy. Let's say that code. Tap dance. You wouldn't have the need to tap dance for Zaddy. They wouldn't pressure you that because they'll have their own thing going. You have your own thing going. You have your Black Wall Street. Let's just say that, quote unquote. We'll have our Black Wall Street. No one would bother you. You would be able to grow fully. If race didn't matter, if it wasn't a thing, our men would love their women. They wouldn't want to go over there to the other women because it would never exist as such, right? No one would ever told them or challenged their mental capacity on going up against this man, but they said the words. They said the words to them. They said, you can't have two things. You can't have the white man's wealth or his woman. And that's a challenge, right? So now race does matter. Before, it really wouldn't have if nobody ever said anything about it. If nobody ever done the things they did in the past. So you can't really now live that now. You cannot live that now. And I'm about to show the video of why. So watch and listen. Here we go.
A young mother died in the St. Bernard jail suffering from a rare but treatable illness. Back in March, 4 of her jailers were sent to prison, but to Namali's family, justice has not been served.
The family says others who had a hand in Namali's death have yet to be held accountable. Equally disturbing to them, they say the others are trying to capitalize financially on their loss, leaving them feeling exploited and powerless. In this exclusive interview, Namali's family opens up to investigative reporter Mike Pearlstein.
Oh, I forgot. This chapter. Hold on. Hold on, family.
Namali was a 19-year-old mom when she died of a rare but treatable blood disorder after 10 days inside of the St. Bernard Parish prison.
I'm sorry. My computer is acting up. I forgot to let you guys know that this chapter, I'm going by chapter so I can get my mind together, keep my mind straight on this. They had us at the first chapter of this video is starting it off, of course. They had us at hello. Hello. They had us at hello. Okay? And let's proceed.
Denied a trip to the hospital, denied the medicine that would have saved her life.
I still have a hard time to sleep. I just can't understand how people could be so wicked.
Mocked by jailers who accused her of faking her illness, put in an isolation cell, passing out repeatedly as other inmates urged deputies to help. Namali died on April 1st, 2014. It took 7 tense years, but in March, 4 of the former St. Bernard Sheriff's deputies who were responsible for Namali were sentenced in connection with her death.
I don't want them to suffer from it, but I want them to actually have a change in heart.
But there's a lot more to the sequence of events that landed this high school senior in jail. Namali had just given birth to a baby girl, Nelijah, 4 months earlier. She had already split up with the girl's father, Nicholas Connors, after a troubled relationship.
He would often try to stop by the house. There was a time where even they had to try to get a restraining order.
Namali was 33 weeks pregnant when she called police after an altercation that left her cell phone broken and her earrings yanked from her ears. The police report shows she declined to press charges. Things went very differently 5 months later. Namali had just been released from the hospital when she tried to get her baby, who is now 4 months old. This video and a police report show that Connors had already taken up with a new girlfriend, Chelsea Lefebvre. They had the baby and gave Namali the address, but when she arrived, there was a skirmish. Connors called for the police.
I feel like they pretty much trapped her into a situation.
But later, after Namali went home without her baby, Connors called the sheriff's office and said he had changed his mind. He wanted Namali arrested.
I believe she had the bracelet from the hospital still on her wrist at the time of being arrested.
It could have been stopped immediately, but obviously they wanted her to go to jail.
Namali's bail on 3 relatively minor charges was set at $25,000, more than her family could afford. Judge John Juneau has never responded to our calls for an explanation of the bail amount.
Which I found out it was $25,000. And I was just like, oh my God.
In our previous stories, we documented that the bail Juneau set on Namali's charges, simple battery, disturbing the peace, unauthorized entry, was the highest amount set for those offenses, and even more serious ones, of any judge in any case in that parish all of that year. That same month, Juneau set bail at $10,000 on a man booked with disturbing the peace and a far more serious charge of aggravated battery. In August, she set bail at $13,000 on a man booked on the exact same charges as Namali, even though that man had prior arrests compared to Namali's clean record.
Somebody needs to look into why the judge gave that high bond.
Barry Bernadis is a former FBI analyst. He's the whistleblower who first alerted federal authorities to look into Namali's death. During that time, months after Namali died, he said he received text messages that alarmed him.
Right after I started looking into the case, I got text messages from Judge Juneau asking me to come meet with her. And all those text messages were given to the FBI.
Judge Juneau isn't the only figure who has maintained a 7-year silence on this case. St. Bernard Sheriff Jimmy Pullman has repeatedly declined to comment, but that wasn't always the case. When I first started investigating this case, Sheriff Pullman came here to the WWL-TV station here on Rampart. He urged us not to do a story, saying that Namali Henry died of natural causes and any allegations to the contrary were being pushed by a political rival. While the federal probe into Namali's death proceeded slowly, other things moved quickly. In May 2014, Lefebvre called the police to complain that Connors was harassing her after they broke up. In June, Connors went to court to file succession papers, claiming Namali's property and asserting himself as the baby's sole custodian. And in January of 2015, he filed this wrongful death lawsuit against the sheriff's office on behalf of his daughter. The suit asked for $13 million in damages.
We couldn't even have Elijah for the funeral. We couldn't take her with us.
Other than a chance encounter at a dentist's office by Namali's grandmother, the family says they have never been given an opportunity to see Elijah.
And he said to me, well, you will never see Elijah. So that he told me from his own mouth, I will never see Elijah.
It couldn't be soon enough for us. It's been 7 years. I haven't seen my niece. I haven't held her, nothing.
We want you in our lives so bad it hurts.
Kerwin Walters, Namali's uncle, lives in California. He has a daughter the same age as the niece he has never met. Early on, he texted Nicholas and Nicholas's parents who are raising the child. As you can see, his request for a meeting went from friendly to despondent. At one point, they promised a meeting, but never showed up, leaving Walters waiting for hours. But Connors and the family raising Elijah have hardly been quiet. They are behind a website called Justice for Namali. The site updates the criminal case, raises money for billboards, and advocates for criminal justice reform.
Now you're promoting Black Lives Matter, but Namali's life didn't matter when you called the police and sent her to jail.
Do you think that it's an attempt to fool people into thinking that it's you and your family?
But of course, they were asking for money at a time where we're fighting for justice.
My request for an interview with Nicholas Connors and his family was denied. However, their attorney emailed a statement that reads, in part, "We ask that you respect our privacy regarding our interfamily matter. We are hopeful that a reconciliation takes place in the future when the trauma on all sides is properly dealt with. Before the deputies were sentenced by U.S. District Judge Ivan Lamel, he heard victim impact statements. One by one, over 2 days, Namali's relatives offered heartbreaking accounts of their pain and loss.
Our side of the family does not exist, but you're going to reap and try to reap a significant benefit from that loss.
This court transcript shows the judge asking about that request more than $300,000.
That's what Nimali died for they to have money.
Judge Lamel pointed out that restitution law in this kind of case only provides for concrete expenses, such as a funeral. Have been expenses that could be covered under the law, starting with burial, funeral. How much did Nicholas and his family pay for that?
None.
That was Mike Pearlstein reporting, and the Connors family did say in a statement, in part, quote, "It is a complicated, multi-layered issue, and we feel it's detrimental to Namali's daughter to discuss the details in the media. Everything we do in all aspects of our life, including this fight for justice, we do for her and for Namali." The attorney added that any money from a lawsuit must be placed in a trust for Namali's daughter, and, quote, "Any allegations that her guardians are motivated by personal financial gain are not grounded in the facts or the law."
That is so sad. But the whole thing is, if they're not grounded by gain, why are they keeping the child?
Our next guest story rivals any Hollywood thriller after finding out his wife hired him.
Why are they keeping the child from the grandmother and the family? Why did they plan all this? Why did he took up another girlfriend real quick? How are you going to take up another girlfriend when you just had a baby? Right there tells me you're all about the money. You planned it because you quickly took the baby from her grasp and you put her in jail for nothing. She ended up dying, being killed, murdered, racially murdered. And yet you hear a Caucasian male took up a Caucasian girlfriend, took the Black woman's baby away, and you're going to say it's not about money? But yet you don't allow the family to have time with their niece and their granddaughter at all. At all. It's not a baby no more, yet they still haven't seen her. Definitely money motivated and definitely racial. You see, this whole thing has always been racial and money-wise. Like I said a long time ago, we have abilities. If we didn't have these abilities, we wouldn't. We had so much stuff before slavery, and we had so much after slavery. We did way better than them before slavery ever existed. We did way better than them after slavery existed, after the fact that we went through the slavery. What we went through only made us better, because then we had towns, cities that were booming. We had businesses that were booming. But what it is, they know genetics. So that's why I said skin color wouldn't matter if it really didn't matter. But the fact that it matters, the Democrats, they have to play on that. They call themselves Democrats, they have to play on that. They have to use it so that they can continue to prosper. They can't prosper without us. That's why this integration, interracial relationships are important. That's why all of this is important to the life of white supremacy. And this is why we see it. I see it on a daily basis. I see it even more. I see it the way it was for me in the youth. Because like I said, I grew up in a Caucasian neighborhood, but mostly it was a mixed neighborhood. I can say it was mixed. It was a lot of, black and white people living there. So it was all kinds of races, basically. So I see that nowadays. I see that come back. I see a lot of children, we're integrated now, right? But guess who's going to lose? If we're thinking like them and we're acting like them and we're living amongst them, we're going to lose because they're pulling us down. We can't rise. They're going to ensure that we don't rise. We can rise, though. And I'm telling you how. Thinking opposite. Thinking opposite. Being opposite. Living opposite. Existing opposite. Let's get into some more videos here. Let me see if I could find. Did I stop it? No, I didn't stop it. Hold on. Okay, here we go.
The Volusia County Sheriff says in 34 years of policing, he has never seen anything like this. In an edited 9-minute clip, we see deputies trying to calm down those 12 and 14-year-old kids before they fire at deputies with an AK-47 and a shotgun. We'd like to warn you, these images are disturbing.
Shot fired. Everybody get hard cover.
This jaw-dropping scene starts with Florida deputies taking cover behind a tree.
Oh my goodness.
It's either a shotgun or a long gun. Female has it in her hand. Juvenile male looks like he has something in his hand as well.
And it quickly escalated.
Put the gun down now! She's pointing the gun. Pointing the gun behind the track here.
The stunning 90-minute sequence released as an...
Okay, hold on. Let me start that over. Because this one's going to be... This chapter is going to be... the innocence of youth. Okay. Because the androids, I'm going to say androids, are programmed. If they're programmed, we're programmed. Right? So let's get into it.
The Volusia County Sheriff says in 34 years of policing, he has never seen anything like this. In an edited 9-minute clip, we see deputies trying to calm down those 12 and 14-year-old kids before they fire at deputies with an AK-47 and a shotgun. We'd like to warn you, these images are disturbing.
Shot fired. Everybody get hard cover.
This jaw-dropping scene starts with Florida deputies taking cover behind a tree.
It's either a shotgun or a long gun. Female has it in her hand. Juvenile male looks like he has something in his hand as well.
And it quickly escalated.
Put the gun down now! She's pointing the gun. Pointing the gun behind the track here.
The stunning 90-minute sequence released as an edited 9-minute video by the Volusia County Sheriff's Department.
Where have we gone wrong that 12-year-old and 14-year-old think it's okay to take on law enforcement?
The deputies responding to a 911 call from a nearby group home which reported the kids had run away. Authorities say the kids then broke into a nearby home where they found hundreds of rounds of ammunition, a handgun, a shotgun, and according to the homeowner, an unassembled AK-47.
The weapon was disassembled. They assembled it and fired it.
Sheriff Mike Chitwood says deputies spent 45 minutes trying to contact the children before the gunfire started.
Don't let me do this. Don't do this.
Police say the kids fired several times from a patio window, with the boy telling investigators the 14-year-old girl likened the shooting to the video game Grand Theft Auto. But when they challenged deputies outside, law enforcement says they were forced to fire, striking the girl around 7 times.
Get up on her, get up on her. Greg, you get that rifle?
Before rushing to save her life. This video blurred by the department.
They did everything they could to prevent either of these kids from getting injured.
I am so proud of what they did. They did everything humanly possible and above and beyond.
At one point, one of the deputies tossed his personal cell phone through a broken window, risking his life in the process, trying to contact the kids, but the sheriff said they refused to talk with them. And raising the stakes here, guys, is the 12-year-old is also diabetic, meaning he needed his insulin to survive. He is unharmed this morning. Craig, back to you.
All right, Sam Brock there for us in Florida. Sam, thank you.
Okay.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Find your favorite recipes, celebrity interviews, uplifting stories, shop our favorite deals, and so much more with the Today app. Download it now.
So what has happened, evidently, the parents of these children used to take them out when they were real little to the gun range, right? We've seen many of those videos. Taught their children everything about a weapon, because that's what did I say about old Winchester? What did I say about it's the culture. Oh. Ooh, I hope it's not internet. Yeah. This is acting up. Let me try this one. The page is not responding. Yeah. Okay, hopefully this will work. Right here. I am just having trouble here with this. Hold on. Oh, goodness. Okay, here we go. Hey, welcome. It's just Woolly Hair. How you doing today? Let me see. My computer, my internet is acting slow today. Very slow here. Trying to, maybe I need to look it up under something else. Let me look it up under here. Maybe this will be a lot of videos. Okay. I don't know. Maybe this is acting up. It's a culture. We never had weapons. We never had prisons, and we never had crime like this. Never. Okay, this is the evolution of firearms. But we know that Winchester is the inventor of, I don't know why my thing is acting like this. Let me see if I can refresh it. He's the inventor of the rifle, Mr. Winchester. He invented the rifle. I'm trying to pull their pages up. I'm having a hard time doing that. It is not working. Okay, here we go. We can use this. Gun rifle. Well, I don't look like I'm gonna get to that, but as we know, it's part of culture. So what do? We turn around and we see a lot of groups now. We think we have to do what they do. So we are now taking our children, a lot of us, to the gun range and teaching them how to shoot. Our children do the same things. They play the video games. If we're integrated and we're allowing our children in, then they are in danger many times. We put them at risk of not having common sense or not using their common sense in situations, not using their keen sense on energy and where they whether they're going to be safe in a situation or not, because that's important. But if you're all dealing with the masculine energy, when you're all dealing with the masculine energy, it's got you looking outside of self. So you're not really in tune with self. So you don't know if they're putting you in a dangerous situation or not. So we don't have our children in an environment that's suitable for them, that's going to uplift them, that's going to get them spiritually connecting to themselves within. Because it's the environment that we're forced to put them in. It's one where they're on the bottom, having to tap dance to the top, which is an unhealthy tap dance to the top. That is not beneficial for them. In the long run, they get advantage taken of them. Many times get a lot of their ideas stolen and then put on copyright upon it. So we have to think about these things. We have to think about these things very, very crucially. Very crucially. And I say we have to come out of it because this lower energy is detrimental to us. And thinking, the mental state influences your spiritual state. And we have to be balanced. Our masculine with the feminine, our spiritual with the physical. We have to be balanced. This is why I put forth the importance of us thinking opposites and doing, because thinking opposite is going to move us opposite. And that's the way we should be. We should be doing the opposite. We should be going the opposite direction. We should want to go high and not believe a lie of going high. Because you can't go high when you're in a low environment, dealing with low energy, dealing with the positive energy, the masculine energy only. We have to have both the masculine and feminine energy going for us. You will fall all the time if you deal with just the masculine. You will fall. But if you balance yourself out and deal with both, think with both brains, the masculine brain and the feminine brain, the creative and the logic together, then we can have the foresight to prevent those bad things from happening in our lives. Especially certain relationships that just don't mush together. That's why I said the youth have to focus, not on boyfriend and girlfriend, because that's like a distraction in your youth, a distraction from what's important. And that's you. In my youth, I didn't allow that to bother me, that situation, boyfriend, girlfriend. So I didn't have those pressures. So, but I did have the other part. I had the unhealthy part. And a lot of things behind that happened to me. That's why I fell for those things. But when we get our youth to focus on what they need to know, numero uno first, themselves, get their lives together, know what they want, have a foundation, come from a healthy environment, formed a healthy environment for them. And then those who didn't have that, they can create that for themselves. You have the power to create a healthy environment for yourself. Those for those 18 and over. And to do this life right, on your right path. The whole purpose for your existence is to go on your right path, find your right path. It's about knowing what star you're born under, what's within you. What are your talents? Because the star is who you are. So it's very crucial that if your parents don't necessarily teach you that, because they want, this society has cut us off from those things. But those are the mystical things. Those are the most important things in life. Is our stars. I found that out for myself. If I didn't dig and look at that, and if I believed what the church was telling me, the church was saying things from a surface point of view. They were saying a man thought he could get rich, so he was listening to what his horoscope said to him every day, and he was trying to do it. But no, it's not about the surface stuff. It's about the inner stuff. It's about you reaping, you moving and reaping what you sow. It's about you on that path, that proper path, that right path. That's why you have the power. And it's important in your youth not to be distracted, because then eventually what's going to happen is you're going to be ready. It's going to be a proper time for a relationship. And that's when you're out of your youth, out of your learning, out of your building up your experience, your wisdom in life. Because you're building up wisdom. You're learning, you're experiencing. But you're saving yourself for that special person. Because you're on that right path. That special person's going to come. That special person's going to be around the corner. And the man's going to do what the man's going to do. You see? You hear me? The man is going to do, because the man's going to find her. The man's going to be in that proper place, and she's going to be in the proper place. And the man's going to make his move. The same for the woman. The woman's going to do what the woman's going to do. Naturally, she's going to savor herself. She's going to be placed in the proper place because she done walked on her proper path. She done lived on her proper path. She's done everything right for herself, called righteousness. In doing so, she's going to be placed in that right place. And he's going to find her. He's going to find you. You're going to find her. The ancestors are going to guide you. So, my advice to the youth will always be to save yourself, live life, doing what you enjoy doing in life. Not tap dancing for anybody. Protecting yourself from people taking advantage of you. And if it looks like a situation where you might have to be tap dancing, you know that's not where you want to be. And you don't have to be there. It's not conducive to your goals. To where you want to, where you're headed to. And that's the upper road. That's high road. That's the highway. That's the highway. Okay? So, we're not going the low way. We want to go the highway. And this is why I say it's crucial that we recognize the energies. There's low energies, which is just the masculine. And there's the high energies that are masculine and feminine. And that's what we are. But we're put in a place that is low energy. And we're fed upon. They're feeding off of us. And we must stop allowing ourselves to be fed upon. We need to stop following down the road to hell and start taking the highway. And we can look around us at the world and we can see everything. Anyways, you don't have to take my word for it. You can see. You can see with your own two eyes. But you need to see with your open eye, the third eye. I was listening to I call him Brother Wisdom, but I think on YouTube he's Remy H. Hold on, let me see. Remedy. Hold on, let me see. I call him Brother Wisdom. So that I can get you on here. Okay, it's Remedy H. I was right. It's Remedy H. I was listening to him this morning, and he was talking about a brother, was talking to him and telling him that he didn't think we were in the Aquarius time, that he thought, because, Aquarius is the time of revealing, But you have to think about it. And I thought about it. I was like, they made that song. They made that song in the 60s. And of course, we know, right? We know all things are illusion, all things are planned ahead and created, right? So that song was made for that movie, that hippie movie. I forgot what it's called, but it was in 69 sometime frame. But this brother told him that, are you sure we're in the time of the Aquarius, that we not in the time of Aries? And that got me thinking, what have we been combating? We have been combating against this world that we're in, right? We've been combating against the masculine energy that have created, because it doesn't have the feminine energy, it doesn't have the negative charge, it just has the positive charge, right? We've been fighting against that. We're in war. That's what we're in war against, the masculine. And it doesn't have the feminine charge. We have the masculine and feminine charge. So therefore, that one is the half created. So all this time we're fighting, we don't know, it's so much trickery out here. Got to be keen, because we're going to be tricked. It's so much trickery out here. And we should have known that, because how are you going to let them tell you? How are you going to let them tell you? But we do many times. And when they tell us the wrong thing, to lead us in the wrong road, the wrong path, right? So we just might be in the times of Aries, because if we're combating and we're winning spiritually, physically, I'm going to say it again. If we're combating and we're winning physically and spiritually, then that brother very well may be right. We may be in the times of Aries. But they're not going to let us know. They want to misguide us and have us thinking and leading us somewhere else. We're playing their game many a times. That's why I said we shouldn't play chess or checkers or backgammon or spades. The list goes on. Blackjack. We shouldn't do it. Russian roulette. None of that. So I'll leave you with this. It's a must. It's a must with 2 lines underneath of it, that we think opposite in our rightful minds along our righteous paths, aiming for higher. Aiming for higher. So thank you, ladies, for being here, and all those who are still in the cloud. Much appreciated. And those of you who are going to view it later, thank you. And with that said, have a glorious day. And always remember, true love, real peace, and the higher self within the soul. Till next time, family. Bye.